Okay, I'm experimenting with something new today, and we'll see if it works. And if, and only if, because I know no one knows I exist, but if I get enough viewers of this video, and if I get enough requests, I probably won't. But if I do, I have a nonfiction list for next week that includes advice on money, advice on health, advice on eating, advice on gardening, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if I get 10 requests, I'll do it. I probably won't. So it probably won't happen. But anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina K-S-T-I-N-A. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smashy stuff going on here. And this is a new area for me, so I'm used to holding up physical books, but since these books haven't come out yet, we're gonna have to do pictures, and I'm still learning how to do that picture thing. So please bear with me. So these are books that we are looking forward to that are being published out this month. These are all new releases. I had planned on doing 10. I kind of talked myself into 15. So let's see if this works. Cross your fingers. Are you coming? Hem, Smokey. Come here, Smoke. Come here, Smoke. Come here. Up, up, up. Come on. Up, up. Smoke. Well, come here. Well, come up here. Come on. Are you coming? Well, don't come. Okay. So, my glasses are icky. So, our first book is, well, that's just great, Chrissy. Better Than Friends. Book 7, Jill Shalvis. And we've talked about her in Flashback Monday. And I will be talking about her in February. She's our second chance gal, and we'll be doing second chances in February. And it's Jill, and then Shalvis, Jill Shalvis. Better off friends. It's book 7 in the Sunrise Cove series. Old flames reunite in Sunrise Cove in this charming enemies to lovers second chance small town. Forced proximity love story about family, friends, and true love from New York Times best-selling author Jill Shalvis. When Olive Porter's off-the-grid parents go missing, she reluctantly seeks out Noah Turner, her ex, and the only person she trusts implicitly and not at all. Huh? She trusts him, but she don't trust him. Okay. As a special investigative agent for the National Park Service, Noah was used to living under intense pressure, or he was until he got injured on the job. Now unhappily recuperating at home, while being smothered by his nosy family, he loved nothing more than a good distraction. So when Olive shows up looking like $1,000,000, he has to do a gut and heart check. Nope, no matter what, he can't fall for her again. The woman who once blew up his entire life and never looked back. How ironic then that his own personal hell, Olive, is also his ticket out of town. The question is, will the reward be worth the risk, or will the risk be reward the... What is up with your butt? Okay. Come here. 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 Let me just hang out. Come on, hang out. Fine. Don't hang out. Book 2. And we've talked about this woman quite a bit on Flashback Monday. And we gotta do... She has a Simon series way back when. It was a bunch of... I think it was brothers or friends. I've got those over there. We gotta get into that. This is the paranormal section, but there is a Regency section over there. And then the mysteries are just everywhere because I only do series, and Janet takes up a whole shelf. Catherine Coulter takes up the whole shelf. Patterson's got a couple of bookcases. He's got too many. But, so book 2, Laurie Foster. We know Miss Foster. We've known her for a long time. We've been reading her, God, forever. Like I said, the Simon books are over there. The Fearless One, book 2. He had it all planned until she showed up. Jedediah Stephens came to Colorado Rockies for one reason, to uncover the truth behind the fire that killed her family. She's been chasing down clues, and everything has led her to an isolated campground. Her plan is to get a job there so she can investigate who comes and goes. Getting involved with her boss, Memphis Osborne, the ruggedly handsome groundskeeper, is definitely not part of the plan. When Jedediah arrives on the scene, Memphis just knows she's up to something. He can see the desperation in her eyes and rarely agrees to hire her. As they work side by side, Dia triggers his deepest protective instincts, and the chemistry between them ignites. But the more Dia digs into her family's past, the more secrets she unravels, the more she becomes afraid. She lost everything once before. She'll never forgive herself now if she loses Memphis too. So does that mean that when it all comes out, he'll be pissed off at her and he won't talk to her again? The whole thing will work to the end, and then just before the end, there's got to be that last little cliffhanger. That's got to be that last little thingy. That last little twisty turning that gives you a little heart fluttering stuff. They all pull it. They all pull it. Alright, book 3. The In-Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill. What would you tell your teen self if you could go back in time? Underhill's tender, innovative debut is the smartest take on this trope I've ever read. And for the record, I read it in a single sitting. A beautiful, thoughtful study of how we trust ourselves and whom we choose to trust. And that was Jodi Picoult. She's a huge author. She's a huge selling author in the shop. She really is. And what would you do? I have got a list of things higher than the Empire State Building, of regrets, of shoulda, woulda, couldas, a huge, massive list of stuff to tell myself not to do. My regrets, oh my God, what the F did I do, is long, is massively long. There are some things, I know this person, absolutely hand to God, hand seriously God, one small not microscopic, but one itty bitty thing, one itty bitty decision changed his life unfathomably. This person had a really massively good job. But part of the job required driving. And I told it's unfathomable how his life changed. And it was discovered that he had forgotten to renew his driver's license. And he had been working this job for, I guess it was expired 1 or 2 years by this point. Completely, totally, absolutely over his head, forgot. And when it was discovered, he was suspended from his job. And I don't know the particulars there, what happened. I don't know the particulars. But during this interim of stuff that happened, it led to a DUI. And once the DUI happened, he totally fired. And life went down all these different roads. And he ended up in a almost ended up homeless. In a homeless shelter, ended up in a horrific accident because he went from cars and trucks to a motorcycle, and horrific accident that still hasn't recovered. But because of that driver's license thing and all these other cascading incidents, if it wasn't for all these cascading incidents, he wouldn't have met his current wife. Although he might be physically, he still hasn't healed from that. But anyways, it's one little thing. I would like to change my college. I went with what my mom wanted me to do. If I had used my brains and said, "Hey, look, you're really good at business. Get your degree in business." But no, I had to do what everybody else wanted me to do. Total regrets. So where were we? Oh yeah, In Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill. A poignant and enchanting novel about a magical bookstore that transports man through time and brings him face to face with his teenage self, offering him the chance of a lifetime to examine his life and to identify a new beginning. When Darby finds himself unemployed and in need of a fresh start, he moves back to the small Illinois town he left behind. But Oak Falls has changed almost as much as he has since he left. One thing is familiar: in between books, Darby's refuge growing up, an eventual high school job. When he walks into the bookstore now, Darby feels an eerie sense of deja vu. Everything is exactly the same. Even the newspapers are dated 2009. And behind the register is a teen who looks a lot like Darby did at 16, who just might give Darby the opportunity to change his own present for the better, if he can figure out how before his connection to the past vanishes. Okay, book 3. I don't know. All of these books right here. All of these books. Starting way over yonder, coming across here, and then coming across here. They are all Miss Feehan. Oh, and by the way, the books, see that corner over there? I lost one of my candles. It's down at the bottom of the corner. And to get to it, I have to move all these bookcases. So it's going to stay there. So I lost one of my candles. It doesn't look that broken. I don't know. I can't reach it though. It's 15 feet down. So I'd have to move all the bookcases to get it. So anyway, that's all Miss Feehan. So do you think I'll be buying this one? I don't know. See all the Feehans back there? All right. Dark Hope, Christine Feehan. She always has these names. Why do these authors choose these names that are so hard to even pronounce? So it's Silke and then Vrise. Reindeer knows a war is coming. The Demon Slayer has seen it over and over again in the cards, and the battle won't just be for the survival of her remote village, but for all mankind. Silke knows the only way to win will be with the help of the Carpathians, a fact that fills her with trepidation, as she is fated to be the life mate to one of the ancient supernatural warriors, bound to a complete stranger and responsible for his soul. One of the oldest, most dangerous Carpathians, Benedek, Kovac, is more beast than man. Locked away for centuries, the only thing that has stopped him from becoming one of the monsters he's sworn to defeat is the thought of his life mate. When Benedek senses the impending danger, he sets out to find her before it's too late. But their enemy has laid a trap that pushes him closer to turning than ever before. For so long, Benedict has felt nothing. Now some dark is compelling him to indulge in cravings he thought long buried. So no hope that anyone can restore what's left of his tainted soul. But Silky's nothing like he imagined, but she's strong enough to fight back in darkness. And isn't one of the things, if I remember correctly, color? When they finally see their life mate, they start seeing stuff in color again. Alright, another author that is over there. She's over there. There's a gazillion of her books over there. And we talk about her all the time in Flashback Mondays. If you haven't watched Flashback Monday, please watch Flashback Monday. We talk about all the books in Romantic Times Book Review magazine. Those authors are still writing today. FEEHAN's in them. And this Miss Putney is in them. All of these authors are in those magazines. And if you're looking to start a series and you want to know how it started, check out Flashback Monday. We do Regencies, we do contemporary romance, we do sci-fi, we do paranormal, we do Harlequin, we do inspirational, we do contemporary romance, we do all Miss Emily Henry types. I had a guy come in. He has his own little bookstore and he uses our bookstore to fund his bookstore. And he said they can't keep Emily Henry on the shelf. She flies off the shelf. I said, well, I got 5 copies you can have. So Mary Jo Putney, the Golden Lord, Allies of Heart and Soul. England, 1803, the oldest foster child of the Earl and Countess Tremaine. Caden Tremaine was one of several abandoned children rescued into the fold of the tribe of Tremaine, each bearing a special gift. Now that he is grown, Cade's superior investigation abilities and talent for preventing violence, or necessary when executing it, are urgently required by the Home Office. For after all too brief peace, Britain and France are about to be at war again. But it isn't the dangerous mission that concerns Cade, it's his secret love for his sweet, bright, spirited accomplice. Tasmine Tremaine has always felt a deep connection to Cade, whose very presence warms her heart, yet they are not blood. Their family relationship has led her to suppress her love feelings for him. Also, they were raised as siblings, but they're not biological siblings. You know, you get a little... But I understand it that one's adopted completely and one has completely different parents than the other. So you have to understand that they may have grown up together, but they're not biological relationships. But their mental bond is undeniable and only grows stronger, along with their feelings when Cade is captured by the French. Tam knows that Cade will not be easily broken, yet only their meeting of minds can truly save him. So maybe they're telepathic. Do you think they're telepathic? Alright, moving on. Another lady who is also over there, and I did a video on her when I first started the channel, and I did it wrong. It was, she's cozy, she's romantic, I was in my bathrobe. It didn't work. But I may do that again when, because this belongs to that, I did the Only series. That's what I did. I did the Only. This is the, Remember series. So this is Mary BALOGH, and she is in those Romantic Time magazines up the yin yang. There's several of hers all the time. I've been reading her for that long. Over 20 years, I've been reading this author. If you haven't watched my holiday presents, Joanna Lindsay, please go back and watch that. It aired in December. I love my Mallorys. But anyway, these are the wares. Oh, more wares. They were in a Simply? I'll have to look. So, Mary BALOGH, Remember When? The Dowager Countess of Stratton, Clarissa Ware, née Greenfield, has just presented her young daughter to the throne, and the rest of her life belongs only to herself. She returns to Ravenswood, intending to spend the summer alone there, but the summer has other plans for her. Born a gentleman, Matthew Taylor has chosen to spend his life as the village carpenter. Growing up, he and Clarissa were close, dangerously so, considering their family's modest fortune. As a young man, he never would have been a suitable match for the daughter of a wealthy Greenfield. Clarissa married Caleb Ware, the Earl of Stratton, so Matthew married another, but he was soon widowed. Now everything is different. Clarissa has already lived the life expected of her by society, and Matthew was attracted and intrigued as you were when they were young. So I guess her husband is deceased too. Book 7. We just did this one the other day. This first one. We just did book 1 the other day. So please go check out Sherlock Holmes and Margaret Maple and Edgar Allan Poe. No, it's Brandon Poe, I think. We just did it. Brendan Holmes, and Augustus Poe. That's it. Augustus Poe. There's a lot of references to the famous people in here. It was a good book. Please go check out my review of it. So, Holmes is Missing by James Patterson. Successes come quickly to Holmes, Marple, and Poe investigations. Oh, yeah, because they solved the murder in the mayor's office, the first book. And then there were four or five separate cases. They had the bones and the murder mystery and the kidnapping that turned out to be a kidnapping. So please go check out that book review. Successes come quickly to Holmes, Marple, and Poe investigations. The New York City agency, led by 3 detectives, Brendan Holmes, the brain, Margaret Marple, the eyes, and August Poe, the muscle. With famous names and mysterious past, is one major case away from cementing its professional reputation. But as a series of child abductions test the PI's legendary skills, the cerebral Holmes absent leaves a gap in the whole agency's roster. See what happens there. Shoot. Dana Stabnow. She is also in, and Patterson's in the Romantic Times Book Review magazines too. He's been writing that long. But Dana, D-A-N-A, and then S-T-A-B-E-N-O-W. Abduction of a Slave. The gripping new historical mystery from Dana Stabnow. Cleopatra, 7th of her name, all-powerful ruler of Egypt, has found her most able and trusted agent in, oh good God, T-E-T-I-S-H-E-R-I. I of Isis. So when T-E-T-I-S-H-E-R-I asked permission to visit the kingdom of C-Y-R-E-N-A-I-C-A, she is surprised and suspicious when her queen grants her leave from Alexandria. A middleman in Syringia has ceased communication, and Tashisha's uncle, a master trader, is on a mission to find out why. But there are others in Syringia with hidden agendas. Julius Caesar's spies, Caesar's sworn enemy Metellus, M-E-T-T-E-L-U-S, Scipio, S-C-I-P-I-O, and the ever-duplicitous King Juba I. Tashia realizes that Cleopatra consented to her mission for Seneca is a web of intrigue that also includes Pompey's widow and an army readying to take on the might of Caesar. Let's see what happens there. Another author that shows up in Romantic Times book review often, Robert CRAIS, R-O-B-E-R-T-C-R-A-I-S. Elvis Cole and his enigmatic partner Joe Pike race to a terrifying, undefined killer in this twisting, unpredictable thriller from New York Times bestseller Robert CRAIS. Tracy Beller was 13 when her father disappeared in the sleepy town of Rancho, not far from Los Angeles. The evidence says Tommy Beller abandoned his family, but Tracy never believed him. Now, 10 years later, Tracy is a high-profile influencer with millions of followers, the money to hire the best detective she can find, Elvis Cole. Elvis heads to Rancho where an ex-con named Sadie Givens and her daughter Anna might have a line on the missing man. But when Elvis finds himself shadowed by a giant vicious criminals, the missing persons case becomes far more sinister. Elvis calls his ex-Marine friend Joe Pike for help, and they follow Tommy Bellow's trail into the depths of a monstrous, hideous evil. Book 10. Fiona Davis, The Stolen Queen. Egypt, 1936, when anthropology student Charlotte Cross is offered a coveted spot on an archaeology dig in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. She leaps with the opportunity. That is until unbearable tragedy strikes. Then it fast forwards to New York City, 1978. 19-year-old Annie Jenkins is thrilled when she lands an opportunity to work for former Vogue fashion editor Diana Vreeland, who's in the midst of organizing the famous Met Gala, hosted at the museum and known across the city as the Party of the Year. Meanwhile, Cleopatra is now leading a quiet life as the associate curator of the Met's celebrated Department of Egyptian Art. She's consumed by her research on Hathor, a rare female pharaoh dismissed by other Egyptologists as unimportant. The night of the gala, one of the Egyptian art collection's most valuable artifacts goes missing, and there are signs that Hathor's legendary curse might be reawakening. I have to see what happens there. Book 11, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. They call them wayward girls, loose girls, girls who grew up too fast, and they're sent to Wellwood House in St. Augustine, Florida, where unwed mothers are hidden by their families to have their babies in secret, to give them up for adoption, and most important of all, to forget any of it ever happened. 15-year-old Fern arrives at the home in the sweltering summer of 1970, pregnant, terrified, and alone. Under the watchful eye of the stern Miss Wellwood, she meets a dozen other girls in the same predicament. There's Rose, a hippie who insists she's going to find a way to keep her baby and to escape the commune. Oh, good Lord. And Xenia, a budding musician who plans to marry her baby's father. Holly, a wisp of a girl, barely 14, mute and pregnant by no one knows who. Everything the girls eat, every moment of their walking day, and everything they're allowed to talk about is strictly controlled. Ugh. Oh my God. Ew. No. Brad Meltzer, JFK conspiracy. The Kennedy, the 35th president of the United States, is often ranked among Americans' well-liked presidents. Yet, what most Americans don't know is that JFK's historic presidency almost ended before it began, at the hands of a disgruntled psychopathic loner armed with dynamite. Well, it ended before it should have anyway. On December 11th, 1960, shortly after Kennedy's election and before his inauguration, a retired postal worker named Richard Pavlik waited in his car, a parked Buick, on a quiet street in Palm Beach, Florida. Pavlik knew the president-elect's schedule. He knew when Kennedy would leave his house. He knew when Kennedy was gone. From there, Pavlik had a simple plan, one that could change the course of history. Alright, a not so fiction book. Brooke Sheilds. I saw this and I'm like, it looked cute. Is not allowed to get old. Thoughts on Aging as a Woman by Brooke Sheilds. Brooke Sheilds has spent a lifetime in the public eye. Growing up as a child actor and model, her every feature was scrutinized, her every decision judged. Nothing gets between me and my Calvins. Good Lord. That was the commercial that aired forever. And yet for Brooke, a passage of time has brought freedom. At 59, she feels more comfortable in her own skin, more empowered, and more confident than she did decades ago in those famous Calvins. Book 14, Wise Guys in the White House, Gangsters, Presidents, and the Deals They Made by Eric Desenhall. Gangsters and presidents have long captured the American imagination, and how does the underworld actually affect presidential power? I think this one might be alright, forget it. How deep are their connections, as Eric Denzel reveals in this eye-opening history? In some instances, one could have functioned without the other. Franklin Delano Roosevelt to Richard Nixon to Robert Joseph R. Biden. The mob has done presidential dirty work. Okay. The Deal Cut with Lucky Luciano. How the Chicago outfit and Frank Sinatra got Kennedy elected. How LBG Lyndon Baines Johnson and the FBI use a mob hitman to hunt down the killers of the civil rights activists. Trump's blatant lies to construction and gambling cartels. Biden's early links to the Irishman Frank Sherman, the labor union official and enforcer for Jimmy Hoffa. Okay. Our final book is another lady that appears in quite a bit of Flashback Monday. And she's always got these weird titles. But anyways, she's on my shelves over there, so I'll have to check out Flashback Monday to see her. So this is our 15th book and our final book, unless you want some nonfiction next week, and those are weird fictions, nonfictions. All right, Allison Brennan, See How They Hide, book 6. First one is The Third to Die, 2 is Tell No Lies, 3 is The Wrong Victim, 4 is 7 Girls Gone, 5 is Witnesses, and 6 is See How They Hide. 2 people were murdered at the exact same time in the same gruesome manner. Bodies discovered in red poppies, but on opposite sides of the country. So is it 2 people working together? Is it mystical stuff? What? With Detective Kara Quinn investigating in Oregon and Special Agent Matt Costa in Virginia, the mobile team digs deep to uncover each victim. What is the link between the two, and why were they targeted? Yet their search unearths more questions than answers until they meet Riley Pierce, the only person alive who might be able to help them find the killers. Soon it becomes clear that the case is nothing like they've seen before, as investigation leads them to the hollow grounds of Havenwood, an eerily beautiful place rooted in terrifying evil. Can they solve the mystery? And those are your 15 new releases for January 2025. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you enjoyed, I think this is 43 or 44 if then, and technically it's over 50 because the early ones I screwed up in numbering. And I just decided not to go back and fix them. So it has been well over 50 if then. If then finest. Don't forget, if you haven't watched Star Trek Next Generation this morning, please watch them. And don't forget Flashback Monday on Mondays. And don't forget my daily book reviews. Thank you so much, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Have a good one.